What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning, everyone. How we doing? Hope everyone's doing well on this Thursday morning, isn't it? Very interesting. What's up, Cliff? Sliding in here right at the start today. A little gap up, huh? A little gap up to start our Thursday after the rate cut yesterday. And yeah, interesting. Interesting. Where we're at. SPY back at previous day high already. QQQ up almost 1%. Interesting. You do have, obviously, here, let me get accommodated here a little bit, make this a little bit bigger. Well, did we all survive? How's everyone doing? Did we all survive the rate cut FOMC bear market yesterday morning? Amazon coming down pretty hard. AMD getting smoked. CrowdStrike is up 7%. Wow. Just playing some catch up here in the market. I mean, SPY right here, previous day's high. A lot of volume, tomorrow options expiration. Be an interesting day for us today. We'll see what happens. Let's get it, KV. Let's get it. Let's get it. Vladimir in here. Willie C sliding in. Boom. Yeah, Willie, I was going to take a look at that here in a second, but 100%. Yeah, we'll take a look. The gap is going to be very large, right? Let's see. Where did we actually? It's only 0.4. It's actually not as big as you'd think on SPY. On QQQ, it's much higher. 0.84. So let me get that pulled up here. And we'll take a look and see gap fill stats. I do want to see what these are. Gap fill by size. Gap up, 62% time not filling on SPY at this size. QQQ. QQQ's 50-50. 50-50. Let's just see. Yeah. Not the strongest of stats. There's only 8 that have happened in the last 6 months. I'm looking over here, I only see 8, but that'll be interesting. So we'll keep our eye on that. Mr. Offsuit. Traded light, tough day, risk reward set. Yeah. So yesterday I had one trade. Right here in the morning on this push up, I got short on the second push up, like right here, and I just rode it to like 400, I think. Yeah. So I rode it to right here. I basically got 100 points, and then I got stopped out somewhere. So I think it was here, or maybe here. I don't know. I got stopped out somewhere, but I only really took one trade yesterday, and I was ecstatic with that. It was a good trade. I didn't have to think about anything, worry about anything else, and yeah, here we are. How did sound? So that was a weird one, wasn't it, Cliff? Like I don't know. I mean, obviously, I was watching it. I was playing it out loud over on Spaces, and boy, it was just a strange thing. Hey, part of me wants to short. Part of me says it's dumb. So I'm just gonna kind of sit here and wait for a minute. I mean, we can see some overnight levels here. 650, 645. 590 and previous day high down here, but I just don't know. I don't know if I want to do anything like that. Let's take a look and see what this looks like. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Pal did sound very, what's the term? It's like it was just a weird vibe the whole time. Like he wasn't like upset or anything, but he was like he had some concern on him, but he's like, well, we're doing it anyway. He's, I don't know, he sounded kind of confused, but it didn't sound like super like dovish to me. But it wasn't bad, obviously. And you had the Fed dot plot come out. Obviously, Moran that was put on, or Myron, however you pronounce it, that the Trump administration kind of cherry picked and placed over there. He was like voting for 50. He was the only one, and then there was more. There was a lot of. It seemed like the Fed was all over the place on what they projected. So yeah, I don't know. Like kind of like he. Yeah, I hear that, Cliff. Kind of like he was just like uncomfortable. I mean, he handled it well, like he always does, but it just had a weird vibe to it. Yeah, dovish but pessimistic. Like he didn't sound concerned, but he sounded like he was just kind of telling you how it was, and that it wasn't just like all rosy. But there also like kind of wasn't things to be concerned about. He said he really didn't care if it was a bubble. That was kind of funny. All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's see. What's up, Serenity? Good morning. KV, you're traveling next week. Oh, there you go. I hear you. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I all As we all become traders, in my opinion, I mean, people help you get to where people help me get to where I am. People have probably helped you get to where you are. Your job as a trader is just to turn around and open that door for the next person. So I love what KV's doing here. Love what KV's doing here. Yeah, there was a lot of clip that dot plot. There were several people that were kind of against the cut, like were like cautionary against it. There was one person that still had us like higher than we were, than we like higher than the cut, which I thought was interesting. All right, what do we have somebody trying to say we need to hike rates? Like that was interesting. Kind of sitting on my hands. I don't mind this trade here, 560 to 553 previous day high. I don't hate that. All right, let's see what we can figure out here for some trading. I'm not like, yeah, I don't know. What if today turns into one of those everybody sees the rate cut happen, the float up, new all-time highs, and this thing just sells all day? That would be brutal. That might be the most painful way. This just turns into a brutal sell day. I don't think it will. I'm just saying that would that would be a brutal day. I think you have to look to buy dips probably, as hard as that is. But boy, if it does like come down here and fail yesterday's range, I mean, but we know the gap fill is unlikely. We know a lot of this is unlikely. I'm just saying that would be that would be absolutely brutal. Yeah, I'm being picky today, KB. I mean, and if you're new to the stream out there today, I'm not like a take every single trade type of guy. Like I'm decently picky with my trades for the most part, but day like today, I mean yesterday, today, what's coming tomorrow? So KB's making a great point here. Tomorrow, triple witching, some people call it quad witching, whatever your futures contracts expire at the end of the day today, roll over. Um, your weekly, quarterly, monthly, you have three different time frames of options that all expire tomorrow. So there's a ton of like reshuffling of positions. So like obviously if you've been holding calls for whatever SPY QQQ, and you had quarterlies next month. I mean, I'm sorry, and you've been holding them for several months. This month is that you're at the quarterly expiration. You gotta put that money somewhere. So you see them taking profit at different points and then putting it on other stuff. I should dress up as Pal for Halloween. That'd be sweet. I don't think I can pull off a Pal very well because I have just this chin curtain on my face. Well, they are selling this a little bit. I didn't try along yet. This does just This kind of feels like a day where if I didn't have to wake up, I probably, or like you wake up, check the market, you go take a nap or something, maybe. This is a tough day. Very tough day. But we'll see. We'll find an opportunity somewhere, right, guys? I do want to check the stats on this bullish outside day here. Let me see. Outside day. This bullish outside day is not even that strong. 57% right now. Last five, 1 out of 5. Yeah, that's interesting. So it's not like a huge probability, but there is a probability to come right here. Chick Powell with a beard. Yeah, that'd be funny. I feel like you're in no man's land because when I look at this on a bigger time frame, all I see is yesterday's highs here. This is what you're working off of. You don't have much to work off of. This is your previous all-time high, like intraday, right here, 592.88. It's on QQQ. SPY, you like immediately failed this. This is interesting. I feel like this could go either way. I mean, I guess V longed here off pivot point. That's tough. Yes. I don't know, guys. I'm looking at them. I'm just kind of perplexed, which is okay, right? I mean, we don't have to love it every single day, but right off of that 600, which it's basically your orb high, IB high from Tuesday. Well, Andreas, this is interesting. This has been a topic of conversation. A lot of spaces that I've been, a part of hosting. A lot of people ask, talk about seasonality, right? And most people are saying the seasonality is. I mean, there's some things that are just mechanical in the market that happen no matter what, but the seasonality, like because of that, whatever tariff flash crash, whatever you want to call it, and then the quick recovery, then you have AI going on, and it's like seasonality is just kind of either off kilter or yeah, I don't know. Oh man, Meta. See if anything's strong. I mean, PLTR is up 3 points or 3%. Nvidia up 2%, but under kind of opening price and pre-market, sort of. They invested in Intel. Google's not doing anything. Tesla not really doing anything. Broadcom's a little weak again, but it was up so much. Why not? Microsoft looks like nothing. Apple is down, new low, but it charged up yesterday or Tuesday morning. Amazon's our weakest one. Yeah, I don't really see anything that just sticks out to me, guys. I would hate to sit here on a stream with you guys for 2 hours, not take a single trade. When the data is basically 50-50, yeah. How often am I hands off? A lot. Uh, if it's a coin flip, there's not really much I want to be a part of. I need to be able to see two, three things that I can at least go off of, you know, from levels and price action. Um, I mean, if there's a trend break of some type, like whatever it is, or higher highs, lower lows, market structure, and then obviously the probabilities and stuff that things are going to happen. That's where things are difficult because, like, I'm looking at today, and of course, one, we're at all-time highs, which that just means you have price discovery, you have less things to go off of, and then is not the data is not like super exciting. So yeah, I mean, now do I usually make it through a day without ever taking a trade? No. Like, the only like decent statistic I have is it's kind of 50-50, but more times than not, you do come to here. Previous day's high. This gap is unlikely, but this is more times than not this happens. I think you could try the short here, maybe. I just think it's tough. Like, if anything, you almost want to short SPY because it's weaker, but do you want to short SPY that's already completed this? The bulk of your action yesterday down here. We know the gap fill is not super likely. Yeah, so that is interesting. Do I dive into other reports to work? I mean, not really. I mean, every once in a while, like you can go find another piece of confluence maybe in something, but for me, like, I have the main data points that I look at, and if I'm having to go like dig and dive to find something, like, I'm just probably better off just knowing that the odds aren't great. Like, yeah, maybe you could find something. I could see the thought process there, but I don't think that improves my just a whole lot. Now, if I have some things that I like and I'm just kind of looking around, yeah, I can always like try to find another data point that helps, but yeah, I don't know. VIX Is VIX hanging in here? VIX is down 1.5. VIX is actually pushing up. Yesterday was VIX. This was VIXpiration, so Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Yes, bouncing off value high of yesterday. We're about to get the first 30 minutes. Obviously, we can start looking at some pieces of this as we truck through here a little bit, but I don't see anything that's just super. Gold down, Bitcoin up. Ethereum's actually red. That's interesting. BMNR. Oh my goodness. It's another 6%. Andreas, where are you long at? Sorry, I'm catching up with the chat here. I have a neutral across the board there. See what the futures are saying. So neutral. Now this is, we're still not done with that first hour, so a lot could change here. Price, we're above opening price on NQ. Right at it on ES. All right. Yep, that's what trading is. I'm looking for short. Okay, KB. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit behind on these messages. Let me catch up here. Can you walk through your routine thought process, which reports you look at throughout the day? Yeah, absolutely. So, a couple of the first things that I look at. One, I want to look at where do we open compared to the previous day? So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Where do we open compared to the previous day? Here's previous day's low, here's previous day's high. Where do we open? Because if we break previous day's high or previous day's low, the statistics the rest of the day are pretty strong one direction or the other. So that's one of the first things I look for. In this case, we opened above previous day's high, opened all the way up here above it. So this previous day's range is here. We open up here. That triggers the outside days report. Here, let me just go to my what's in play. So the outside days report gets triggered, which is this one right here. This is sitting on ES. Let me just throw it back to NQ. So what the outside days report looks like is this right here. Bullish outside day. You open above the previous day's high. This is if you don't come back and touch it. If you do come back and touch it, here's the illustration. So this is one I like the most, but right now the statistics aren't super strong on this one. They used to be a little bit stronger. NQ stats are much stronger than QQQs. It's kind of crazy, actually. Huh. But yeah, so that's kind of the next report I look at. Then usually it's the first hour. So the first hour of the market, did the high. Let me go to a 5-minute chart here, make this a little easier to see. So here's your opening candle, right? Here's the exact price we opened. So here's the exact price we opened. First hour of the market, do we close above or below this line? So right here, do we close above or below this? That is a strong statistic directionally for how we're going to finish the rest of the day. The IB by rejection. So right now, there's the high, there's the low, but we get any higher here. And this is actually, I mean, how do you call which one's which? Most likely we probably push up here. So we'll have a low formed first, high formed second. When that happens, the statistics are like 80+% that we're going to break the upside. And then gap fill, of course, I always look at gap fill. So where did we close the previous day? And how big is that gap? So from here to here, how big is that gap? What are my odds of filling that gap in? And like I was measuring this a little bit earlier, if I measure from where did we open, right here. So this is the opening candle, right? This candle right here, right at 9:30. It's a green candle. So here's the open of the candle. Here's the close of the candle, right? The open of the candle's here. To fill the gap, we have to come down here. That's 0.83. And I looked at the statistics. That's a bigger gap than normal. And that's the thing, right? It's not likely to fill that gap. SPY is a little bit better. And then I started looking at levels too. So that report wise, that's kind of what I'm looking at, the main ones. Throughout the day, every once in a while, there's a couple others that I'll look in and see. 30-minute orb, every once in a while, you can take a look at that one. But gap fill, IB by rejection, opening candle continuation, previous day's range, and like this outside days. So here's outside days, previous day's range, opening candle continuation, and then this IB by rejection. Those are like my favorites, and gap fill, of course. So that's the main thing. Now I will take a look every once in a while at this right here, consecutive bars. So like 5, 15-minute, I'll take a look at this. How many green or red candles do we have in a row? If we get here, let me just for the reference here. Let me go to NQ. So you see this NQ, this is 15-minute. And I can even go to 5 minutes, so you can see there's like multiple different ones here. So like for example, we go to 5-minute. If you get 10 5-minute candles in a row, look, that's the maximum. I kind of already had that in my head. If you see 10 5-minute candles in a row that are green, that's the maximum that we've seen. And the average is only 6. And this is consecutive, right? So green, 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 green. So like for example, right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 because this one hadn't closed yet. And on a 15-minute chart, you can look at the same thing. And I'll tell you one thing that I really like is like this one, for example. 11 is the maximum we've seen. So if you get just like almost 2 hours of just going straight up, but this right here is the other thing. Average is 4. If I see that average at 4 and we have 8, so if we're like double the average, and over here we are getting close to this 11. So if we're at 8, 9, I know that we're probably I probably need to take profit, or if you're you can scalp a short, something like that, or maybe look for a little reversal. We do have this whole number right here, 6,700. See if that's worth anything. Didn't really respect it overnight, but see if that's worth anything. And then 743. So I could draw the fibs over here on this one too, on this chart setup. So yeah, 756, right where we rejected earlier. But yeah, like I said, you probably had to look to buy dips, but it was tough. And this kind of just stopped in Wait, did it stop in no man's land? It stopped basically right here at the high. I mean, didn't even touch it, but yep, that one's tough. All right, so sorry, but I wanted to make sure and go through that for Robert. CB leading index, nothing, nothing. 10-year tips auction later, not really much to worry about there. Tomorrow has no data, but we have obviously the big stuff. I was curious what other, if there's any other news, you guys let me know. MSTR is up. So here is the, here, let me just go to SPY. There is an FOMC report on here that some people find pretty interesting. So let me go back let's go back 2 years. So here's something interesting over the last two years. All right, pre-FOMC, we've been green. Day of FOMC, we've been slightly like break even. And then post FOMC, so this is 3 days ahead of, day of, 3 days after. 3 days after, 0.81% move to the upside. And then you can see all the statistics here. For example, we went down the previous one, but like up, down, up, down, up. And this was when they didn't cut last July. I remember that. But anyways, that's there is an interesting report here. Let's see. If we go to 3 years, is it the same? So you go back even 3 years. So that most of you, if you were around, you remember 3 years. You remember 3 years ago, the FOMC was like kind of everything. 2022 going into 2023, there was so much talk about FOMC. But this is interesting. You run up before FOMC, you're usually a little bit red that day of, and then afterwards, on average, you're moving up over the next 3 days. So interesting stat, or data point, I should say. It is daily. Whoa. That was the other thing I was looking at yesterday. All we did was come down to the EMA 9. Daily 9 EMA right here. All we did was come down there and touch it and then fly. I have an upper channel right here that SPY's trying to break out of. You imagine if we just get a blow off top into tomorrow? Just completely blow it off. Yeah, no problem, Cliff. There's new high. I mean, QQQ is basically going to 600 at this point. All right, I do want to look through some of these other names, see what's going on here. Yeah, look, VIX's getting crushed now, down 3.3%. Tesla not doing much. NVIDIA Still under opening print, but it's okay. Apple. Apple getting sold off a little bit here. Amazon's fine. Broadcom was weak earlier. Just trying to bounce back a little bit. Still smacking yesterday's range. Google. Any of you guys watch the Meta effect, whatever, the Meta, what do they call it? Meta Connect. That was interesting. Like they blamed it on the Wi-Fi. Like half the tech wasn't working at the beginning of the thing. Those glasses look pretty cool though, with the little like heads-up display. I feel like you're going through life as like a fighter pilot. Like that. That is pretty cool. Wearables is going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. I kind of like them, to be honest. I kind of like them. All right. Sector by sector. Bank strong. Industrial strong. Tech very strong. Semis are strong. Which I saw this comment right here from B8. Look at Intel. Yeah, Nvidia investing about 5 billion in Intel. Intel's chart just looks just now what? What do you do with this Intel chart now? That is crazy. Look at this consolidation. Little gap fill and die. And then gosh, this is what, a year's worth of a base, and then you get that news and phew, what a move. Congrats to anyone that was in Intel. That is funny. Yeah, but since it's so close to your eye, I just wonder like how much of your vision does it take up? And plus it's I believe it's only in front of one eye from what I saw. So I guess like, if you have normal vision, two eyes, it just like pops up there. I mean, I don't know. Still interesting. I probably wouldn't turn that on while I was driving too much. I don't know. Technology change would be very interesting to see how it goes. That is kind of funny, Cliff. That's a good thought. Let me steal that from you later. Got long on ES, sold, got back in. Yeah, I wanted to try to get long somewhere. I just didn't really have anywhere good to get long off of. I mean, was it 580? Was it 620? Was it 600? Turns out it was kind of both of the first two. Never got down here on NQ. ES, this was interesting too because you kind of dipped further than I thought you would. If anything, I thought you'd probably 75 right here. You get a little liquidity sweep, but boy, what a move though. 35-point move off the lows. Get that first hour here in a minute. We still haven't cleared this area, even though we wicked, London highs, pre-market highs. We still haven't cleared over that area, wherever that fib is, but I don't think anything stops. I don't think anything just stops at. I closed out my Baidu yesterday. I couldn't just hold it any longer. I went in the money. So look at this move on Baidu. I bought on this day right here. And I had options, but 40% move in the underlying. I had 130s for December, and I had to close those out. So I did I did take a little nibble at Adobe yesterday. Adobe getting back through the major moving averages, the two. I think it's gonna make it up here. So I have like Adobe 400s. I mean, it's just this many, and I'm just kind of looking to see if it gets out of this downtrend. We'll see what happens on that. That's about the only new thing I've really done. Bitcoin looks the MSTR up big today. Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see MSTR 370. If it gets through the 200-day right there, it should be a quick move. Look at this volume kind of gap right here. I mean that move could happen fast. Yep, 6% MSTR. This is crazy though. BMNR. Coin I missed bad the other day. I wanted to buy it off of like one of these days right here. I was wanted to buy it off of 300. Didn't get it. All right, new highs again right here on NQ. ZS up here yet? Yeah, so yeah, ES right through that 37 or 6700. Not quite to London and overnight highs. Meta's making a new high of day. Okay, that's coming today. Oh man, Andreas, you think that's coming today? I think that if we get the next step, so we got 10 minutes to the first hour of data. We obviously have the IB low first, the high is going to be second. So we can dip by even down here somewhere. Let's see what it NQ. NQ gives you 730s on a dip, maybe seven. You probably buy it, take it to 800 unless it goes there right now. We'll see how this extends up, but we got 10 more minutes. This, I mean, what's holding this market down at this point? I mean, this just looks like full on blow off tops coming now. What an insane market. Appreciate all you guys joining the stream, hanging out, chatting with me. It's a I mean, I feel like I shouldn't have to overstate this. Trading is a boring game. Best traders I know sit around and do a lot of nothing. I mean, yeah, they're actively watching some of them, but best traders I know spend more time doing nothing than taking positions. So I try to keep that in mind. Um, I think it's probably easier to find winning trades than it is to stay out of bad trades, in my opinion, especially on futures because you're only trying to get the direction right. Apple's still weak. Costco, Walmart weak. Netflix is interesting. Amazon's break even. Yeah, I don't know. So I pay attention to average daily range more on QQQ than NQ. There's still some room there. We're only 76% filled, so there is easily just based on your 14-day average daily range ADR on QQQ 598.10. We're at 597 basically. As a lot of move was made overnight. We can take a look at the NQ one. 90%. 800 is your ADR move on that. That's an interesting Serenity. That's an interesting pull right there. I have that on here every once in a while. I'll take a look at that. I mean, you could throw that in another a report that I do look at every once in a while. Look, go to SPX. It has no pre-market or after hours. I mean, what do you do with that? IndieX. Basically, basically back test and go right there. It didn't even really get there. You almost had to front run it. What a move off of the low yesterday at FOMC. 500 points. Wow. All right, 5 minutes. At least we get that first hour and we can kind of play off of that data a little bit. Dang, 12K day. Andreas crushing it over here. Very good day, Andreas. I love that. Absolutely love that. Yeah, there was some news around that too. Obviously, I think Trump Trump was at that dinner in the UK, and I believe there were several CEOs there. I was kind of following along with that a little bit, but I was more paying attention to well, Powell yesterday, and then I was watching the Meta event last night. Bob, the cooking show's tomorrow. We'll mix some gorditas and some guajolotes. We'll make all that tomorrow. Andreas, I really wanted to buy this dip somewhere. It just didn't give me like a obvious like jump off the screen at me entry. If anything, this candle reaction, this made me a little bit nervous here. But this previous high, I guess 646, probably could have bought this on the reclaim. But this was looking rough when this happened. So I mean, but I get it. And look at this, just flying higher. In my mind, and like everyone trades differently, and I think that's very important. Everyone trades differently. You have different risk tolerances, different sizing. You have different approaches to things, probability wise. Some people trade trends way more. Some people play reversals. I kind of in between those two, but to me, I look at this and I go, okay, I didn't really find a super great entry that I liked, but I also am not trying to short this thing like this and just get ran over because you could get yourself really upside down on a day like today doing that, which could make a really boring day. Renko charts. That's really interesting, Andreas. I've taken a look at Renko charts, and I used to talk to a guy pretty often. I don't know what he's up to. I have to check on him, but he was a big Renko guy. For those that don't know what Renko candles are, see if I can flip to them really fast. Here you go. This is what Renko channel or candles look like. There's some people that use Heiken Ashi. I know a lot of people that use the bars, like these range candles. Well, that was not on a one range though. The point and figure, the X's and O's, that is the weirdest one to me. I can't even deal with those. All right, two of you guys right here. Boom. Avoid the FOMO trade. Roberto Maldonado, he's all over it. Matt, the FOMO is real. And so, like, look, I'm sitting here, I'm doing nothing. I'm just watching this thing. You have to get comfortable in this scenario. You have to get. Let's go back and look at like last week. Okay, two examples of this. I think this was last Thursday. Last Thursday, I didn't get in on this, and it just went up, and I didn't do anything. And look, Thursday afternoon, if I would have tried to short this thing, it really didn't go anywhere. And if you tried to long it, it really didn't go anywhere. So that was a tough one. On this day, on Friday, I did get in long down here. And since I got in, I was able to just sit in it all day. But if I didn't get in on this, it would have been the same thing. I would have just been sitting up here doing nothing. Just look at this, just trend, trend. And this day was trend, trend. So if you don't get in early, it's Tuesday on the stream, got in early, was able to just ride it down here, then didn't do anything. Look at this thing just screaming to the upside. I mean, the problem is, what do you get long off of during any of this? What do you get long off of? That's what I think about. Now, somebody probably sees this and just goes, "Yeah, just buy and let it go." Basically, your average daily range. You just got your first hour. The problem with the first hour is that immediately broke, so that doesn't really give us much to work off of. You do have the probability of retracing back to here at some point, but do you try it here? Maybe. That's a scalpy trap, a trade to try to get back to here. Yeah, Nvidia's about to make a new high. Yeah, there it is. Nvidia new high. I mean, AMD's making its way back. Apple's trying to bounce and hold this level I have at 237-ish. Amazon right back to opening price. Microsoft over opening price, over opening range. Meta new high of day. Gosh, CrowdStrike's up almost, what, 10.5%? Wow. You're a little extended. I wouldn't blame you for taking a short back to 760, 763 right now. And then one of the statistics that I look at, IB by retracement. So this right here, once you get that first, once you get your IB, first hour, initial balance of the market, we have the breakout, so we broke to the upside. You have a 63% chance of making it back in to at least the 25% level, which is this right here now. This is set. So you have about a 60% chance to come back down to 740. So you could try to scalp a short right here. And then the other thing is going to be your EMA 9 catching back up. So wherever those match, that's probably going to be the dip buy. You could take that short though. Get like a 20-point trade maybe. I don't know, it's tough. You're probably playing with fire a little bit. ES didn't quite get to this overnight high. Interesting. The ICT traders are screaming SMT right now. Well, 5-minute shooting star, probably going to get, if you're a scalper, you probably take this short back to here, right? I think it's going to be a tricky day to get in anything. This may be the first stream where I don't take a trade. We'll see what happens. We still got an hour, but might be a walk away and come back later type of thing. What was the pre-market high? 62. I mean, if you try to get a 20-point scalp right here, you probably could on NQ. I don't know. Appreciate all of you hanging out. Could be a. I tell you what. One thing that does help me, either if I'm in a trade or not in a trade, just kind of sitting here talking with other traders. Because if I sit here in silence, it draws me in to want to trade even more. Sometimes I just talk to distract myself a little bit. I do think you can get just the simplest back test of this right here. You broke the IB high. You have this retracement 63% of the time. You come back to this level here, 740. There you go. If you wanted that trade, there's a little bit. This is what it well, I didn't take this, but this is what it would have looked like. Could got in like right here. Could have risked that high. I probably would have risked this to get uh what 20 points there. Maybe second trim 27 points. EMA 9, 30 points. Probably get a 30-point trade, but at what point does it just get bought up immediately? A little tough to work on that. Did we touch it? Basically. Gonna match up, yes. Probably right there, honestly. Maybe 05. Okay, so opening range. So here's the indicator that just makes it clear as day. This is your IB high. This is your IB low. This is the 50% spot. I'm talking about just the 25% right here. So this, do you see this is like segregated into like a like quarters or whatever? So 25% retracement of here's the IB range, right? Here's 25% of it, here's 50% of it, here's 75% of it. You do once you break the upside, you come back to at least here 63, 64% of the time. 63% of the time. That's on NQ. I think QQQ is like slightly lower odds, but similar. Well, if it'll load. But yeah, you're looking for that. The other thing, you take this trade, you got to look at okay, pre-market high right here, 762. There's your 20-point trade. I have this fib level that we rejected and the EMA 9. This is this blue EMA 9 right here. So that would have to be a target. 743, 742 pivot point. That's probably a better target than this, but the statistics based on this right here. So there it is. Yeah, 59% on QQQ. But on NQ here, let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys. So when you break out, which is break the upside of the initial balance, you have a 63 basically percent chance of coming back in 25% of it. So that's what this. So there's a more times than not, you at least come back and touch this. Now sometimes you touch this and you still go. So obviously you have the shooting star. What do they call this? Evening star reversal, morning star. I can't remember which one's up at the top. I'm not a big pattern trader. Can't remember which one's evening and morning star, but shooting star come back down to the MA9. Pretty common. Probably same thing here. Probably a buy in this area, honestly. I'm not going to do it, but it's probably a buy. And 800. We talked about it. Who was it in here? Mentioned the ADR. Serenity, I think. Remember Serenity asking me about that ADR earlier on NQ? That's pretty interesting. The ADR. Interesting. But I remember seeing it was at 800, we exceeded it, but that is interesting. Look at our bias. Holy. If didn't we not to fight things on the short side, I don't know what would. This is NQES, RTY, and YM. So it's your NASDAQ, your S&P, your Russell, and your Dow. All 16 metrics are bullish. Even if at some point you came back to a 30-minute orb, you probably buy it today. This looks like it wants to just continue. Yeah, 25%, 25%. The 50%, so that 50% odd. Look at the difference between these. Let me get this. Why is it? I went right back to yes. Let's go back to NQ. So look how much this drops off. So you have a 63% chance of getting back to that first 25% level, but look how much this drops off. Getting back to the midpoint today, 34% probability. So coming back to here only happens 34% of the time. So basically one out of 3. So if I take any trades up here, do I want to hold to 1 out of 3 odds, or do I want to hold to 2 out of 3 odds? To me, I would take off almost an entire position here if I was short for whatever reason, and then, I mean, maybe a runner down to here that happens, but if anything, that also tells me the other thing. Since I know that this is unlikely, it tells me to probably dip buy in this area, right? So if you took this trade like here-ish, you're trimming here, you should be trimming here, and at most right here. And then if you're looking to go the other way, you probably buy down here. So there's your EMA 9. Boom, right there, touched EMA 9. So there's your trade. So I didn't take this trade, just full disclosure, didn't take it, didn't just love it, but that was a pretty good looking trade setup right there. You get the candle rejection at the ADR, so there's some confluence. You did have the SMT or whatever the ICT guys call it, where one asset makes a new high and the other one doesn't. But you have the shooting star. You had huge move up, kind of the first like signs of exhaustion, and then you broke the IB high. You look to come back down to here. So the way I would manage that trade, when I saw this, I would get short here. I would trim at London overnight highs. I would trim at the EMA 9, and I would look for that 63% odd, which is touching this right here. It's an interesting question, Matt. I don't know that exists, but just in my mind, that would be the other like strat on the other side of this. So you break the high on this candle. If you come back down and touch this, I think knowing that you're probably not going to come down here, your chances of taking this long and taking it back to here, because even if you fell this, you fell an IB high, you come back and back test it, even if it did something like that, you could play from here to here. Strong uptrend, first touch of the EMA9. What do you think happens? Probably buy it up, right? There's your first EMA9 touch. So I don't know. Tough call. But if you wanted a scalpy trade, I'm not a big scalper, but if you wanted a scalpy trade, that was it for you. And then now you're seeing kind of the first look at some bulls trying to step back in. We'll see if they have anything to them. All right, but that's still in play. Even if you came back up here and rejected here, this is still in play until this gets touched. It's a 63% chance. At least the best probability I see. Interesting that like you look at this line here and then look at these kind of candle. Interesting. You guys doing anything? Is anybody buying this dip right here? Doesn't look like a terrible spot. Bob kept that little scalp there. All right. Trump says we may do an extension with China. That's the first like squawk that I've really heard this morning too. ES a little bit weaker. Where did SPX get to? 56. I mean, the midpoint of the IV is also the exact high. Might be able to look at that on ES. Right here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this right here just start wicking and then decide if it's going to do this or this, but it could take like 2 more candles. 21 EMA, VWAP right here. So this is your 6,700, your psychological level. There's a lot to think about right here either way. Vladimir, you would 725 by a dip. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. KB. Hey, it happens. It happens to all of us. Anybody that's saying they've never blown a funded or they're holding fundeds for, I mean, most people are trading multiple funded accounts, and one of them's gonna get blown at some point or another. That sucks, but KB, I know you'll be back on that one soon. Yeah, risking combines rest of the day. Day like today, if you're working on combine, I don't even. I mean, if you got that bored, not KB, but I'm just saying if you got that bored, maybe you could buy a combine and play around with it a little bit. But see if we're gonna get our full spot here. See if you hit the 741. 64% or six, I keep saying 64, 63% odd to hit that low line right there. Only real trade setup I've seen this morning. I didn't really get in it because I didn't really just love it, but that's a it's actually going to be a decent little trade there because if you got in at like was it like 82 that I was kind of looking at, got in there, a bad little 40 point scalp trade if you got in it. But yeah, I don't sometimes you take whatever 50, 100 bucks, 150 bucks, throw it at a combine and try to work on a combine, risk that instead of risking funded or something on a day like today. I don't hate that thought process at all. Yeah, I don't want to overtrade, may wait. Yeah, this could be a come back at the end of the day type of day. I don't know. It'll be I of all days, today is a day where I'm just like I don't know what they want to do next. 'Cause it's already run a lot from yesterday, but what's going to slow it down? Are you going to try to short it in a breakout to new all-time highs? Is it overextended? I mean, I don't know. Is it overextended? Not really. There's a 4-hour chart, 15 minutes. Let me jump over here. 4-hour chart. Are you overextended? Really? Not terribly. You just had a red 4-hour candle. Look at that 4-hour 9 EMA. Just riding it. Bob on those mean streets of Houston out there. I bet Bob does drive through Houston just swinging side to side. He's probably got the spoke rims, with the little elbows sticking out. That would be hilarious, Bob. I'm here for the milk. You can keep the cow. Yeah, Serenity brought up the ADR on NQ, which is average daily range. We hit 100% right at this. It was right at 800. It was right here. This was the average daily range. Oh, I got too many on here. Average true range, there's still more room up there. That's interesting. Get this back to a daily chart. Hey, what do you do with this daily chart? Nothing. The only thing I saw was see if you can get this right here. I'm not Click the right button. I'm not in it, but a 40-point trade. Maybe I found it for somebody. Oh yeah, Bob, I definitely see you having Longhorns on the hood. That'd be sweet. Failed IB auctions. Well, that's kind of what I'm looking at right here. So there it is. Boom. There's your 64% probability playing out. You broke the IB high. You made it back to the 25% retracement. That's kind of what we're talking about. But here's honestly, for what you're kind of talking about, DC, is this right here. There's only a 34% chance that you come back to here. So like once you get to this area, this is your high probability, and then now this is your probabilities. So even though like you failed up here, but when I think about it that way, I also think about like the scenario that goes with this. We're making IBs at all-time highs versus an IB with inside of a previously established auction range, you know? Yeah, Serenity, I hear you. I mean, you helped set that one up a little bit. That ADR was right there on NQ. We looked at it, 800. We fulfilled that. We broke the IB high, and then we knew we had the retracement odds to here about a 40 point little scalp trade there. ES back to ooh. ES on VWAP. SPY is on VWAP. IWM is on VWAP. And your 30-minute orb that we never back tested is right here on these both of these two. So if I did take this trade, I would be out fully right here. So if I got long, I mean, if I got short this 82 area, I would have trimmed at 62. Whoa, sorry. Would have trimmed at 62. I would have trimmed at the EMA 9, and I would have taken full profit at, I'm sorry, right here, 72 probably. I would have front run by a point, and I would be fully out. If I took that trade, that would have been a 40-point trade. I didn't take it. That's fine. Bob, I just saw that picture that you tagged me in. Yes. That's pretty slick, actually. I just saw it in Discord. That's hilarious. 30-minute wick. So I have breakout criteria by wick. This is on IB. So what are DC? I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're asking here. So this is the IB. This is a 1 hour time frame, obviously, because the IB 9:30 to 10:30. Breakout criteria I do have by wick, on any size, anything like that. Now you can customize this all the way down. Do you want a candle close? Do you want a candle close on the 5-minute? Do you want a wick on the 5-minute? Do you want to look at the same thing? There's also the same, so this scenario, it's not going to matter, but this is using the first hour, right? There is a statistic on the 30-minute orb for retracements. There's a 30-minute orb double break statistic. That's more on ES, it's more common. But there's some of those things as well to look at. What is up, Hector? Hector Parra. One trade today short on SPY and made money. Hey, that's all it takes right there. Boom, yeah. If you smack SPY up here against, I mean, once you get that first hour and it wicked up here, you could have probably shorted anywhere in here and risked the high, taking it back down. I don't know where you would have taken it, here, or SPY probably still could go to here, but it came to VWAP. And look, as I was saying, let me go back to NQ here. As I was saying, so the trade, I would have been fully out here. And you see there are some buyers trying it here. There's that EMA 21, and then ES over here for Confluence right on VWAP. Look at what VWAP's doing right here. But good trade, Hector. I like that. I like that. Fully retrace. Well, okay, so there's a couple things we can look at on that at least. So if you fell the IB high, so you break out and fell the retracement, it only comes back 13% of the time. It only comes back to that 75% level. So once you break the high, it only comes back to here 13% of the time. And then the other way, just a simplistic way to look at it, that's if it breaks the high, right? Simplistic way to look at it is going to be just this IB report in general right here. So one way that you can look at it, and if anybody took that long, that was probably the other good setup of the day if anybody took that long. Here's the statistics though. IB single break 75% of the time. So once you break this, 75% of the time, you're only going to break this side. You're not going to come back down and break both sides. 21% of the time, so you see this 21.86. So once you break this, there is a 20% chance that you're going to break both sides. Just a 20% chance. Just in general, that's for either direction. And it's even when you break the high, it's actually even lower odds, because when you break the high, coming back to even here is 13%. But this current one, this is for either side. So if we have just for the illustration here, you have the IB range is this right here, right? Right here. Breaking this and then doing this, 20% chance, or breaking this and doing this, only a 20% chance. 75% chance once you break one side or the other, that's the only side you're going to break for the day. And if you're still in the middle of it, you have a 97% chance to break one side or the other. That's what these data points are telling you. So 75% single break means you're only going to break one side. 21, we'll call it 22 because you round it up. So 22% of the time, this right here, 22% of the time, do you actually break both sides of that? And then, right, just 3% of the time do you ever stay inside of that first hour. So there's a 97% chance you're going to break one side or the other. Today we broke the upside, which I kind of put some statistics together. Even if it fails here, so like to the point that's being made here with DC, if the auction fails to go higher here and it rejects, it's usually going to resolve in here. Traversing it back to here, this only happens 13% of the time. Now, could it happen? Yes, of course it could happen. But do I want to trade for 13% odds, or do I want to try to look to buy dips today when everything else is bullish? That's the tough piece. I need to make a post about that IB by retracement. Feels like that was probably the long. But yeah, that was about the only trade opportunity that I've seen so far. If you got long down here, maybe off of this. You try to long it back to that IB high and then let your runners go to high of day. That would be the other approach. Um, Let me post this real fast. Oh wait, that's IB by rejection. I need by retracement. There it is. You guys get the sauce first, and then I put it up over on X for everyone else. See if I can draw this real fast. Have to go to a 5 minute. All right. Right, got that sent out. Come back over, catch up with the chat. Sorry guys, I'll make sure and get the alpha out there for everyone. If you got long, probably looking good right here. Get the rest of my stuff back. Here we go. All right. Yeah, like if you got long, that was probably your long spot. Now ES diverging a little bit. That's not the most exciting thing. Divergence is another thing that'll keep me out of trades. If I see this happening and this happening, I don't want, this looks like it wants to break out, but if ES is trying to drag us, do I want to be a part of that? You took that long, boom, 7-2 offsuit. Sniper. Sniper. I love that. So, I mean, just think about that. If you took this, if you got long, you could have got long right here. Let me go down to, I like the 15-minute chart because I look at 5 minute on the other one, but I think this would be your other strat right here. And let me move this to right here. So here's that level, right? Right here. There's that level. You could have got long there. You probably could have even risked. I mean, right here, it would be a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, right? 1-to-1, just a simple 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. You got long here, your drawdown was only 10 points, and you're trying to get 47. I mean, this looks like a layup trade as well. I probably should have taken this trade to be 100% honest. So that would be your first target. Your second target would be here. So if I did take this trade, I would sit here and normally I'm taking trades. If you're new to the stream, I just wasn't that excited about these trades, but here's two opportunities. This is one I probably should have really taken. I like this one better than even that scalp short. But there you go. So right there, that would be, a 40 plus point trade. And then you had the confluence, like 7-2 saying here, you had the confluence that ES holds VWAP here. You also had the confluence of 21 EMA in a you know this uptrend, 21 EMAs 9 and 21. But there you go. That would have been a nice trade to right there. And look, this 15-minute candle's back above pre-market highs, London highs. IWM and ES just aren't looking too good though, but that would have been a good trade. I probably would have taken my trim right there. I always front run every level I have. I always front run by like probably 2 points or so, 1 to 2 points. Ooh, getting a little smacked. Not too bad, but ES just doesn't look good over here. IWM lost VWAP. SPY sitting on VWAP. Oh, Pine Tree. What's up, Pine Tree? Sliding in here. Good to see you. In full disclosure, I haven't taken a trade yet. I found two decent opportunities and kind of just sat here and watched them happen, which crazier thing. I mean, worse things could have happened, right, on a day like today, but I was basically two 40-point trades that I left on the table here. If this holds like this, do you take the long and try to? If you really want to find out if today's going to be a trend day, seven two, you done for the day? I don't blame you. If you made some profit on this, and if you got long this morning somewhere, or if you caught either one of these little scalp trades, could be all you really want for the day. Yeah, this is a good thought, Robert. A really good thought. So what he's saying, VIX, when you look at the front month, you look at the 3 and 6 month, and you see contango, which VIX is completely resetting. So Tuesday night into yesterday morning was VIXpiration. ES starting to look more promising now. Definitely something to keep in mind. But just in general, especially because on in queue things can just slip by several points either direction. I'd rather front run and hit my level. If I'm taking a 40-point trade, am I worried about 2 points? Okay, if I'm looking for 30, 40, 50 points on a trade, am I worried about 2 points on NQ? I'm not. I'm gonna front run every level. I'm never gonna, I mean, if my target's 800, I'm probably gonna have a 97 and then maybe something push through. Look at this. There's the completion of the 25% retracement back to the IV high. So somebody was talking about that as that's a strat. That is a strat that people use all the time, especially in an uptrend. Boy, even though I didn't make any money off of this, like it's playing out very, very, very nicely. Yeah, pine tree in the house. Oh, that would have been a little, that would have been a nice spot. If this turns into a trend day and we go up another like 50, 100 points, I'm gonna be a little salty. If we end up here today, I'm gonna be really salty that I didn't get in on the trend here. For today, I mean, 200 points higher today when we're already up 1%. That does sound a little bit crazy, but by tomorrow, it's not crazy. It's not crazy at all. And even less so in this market. Now you could look for a break and base of the IB high if you break and base right here. Yeah. Well, I might be salty today if this was the buy and it just trends the rest of the day. Might be salty. And then ES, just look at this, just holding VWAP and nope, failure to go lower. Let's go back higher. We get a new high right there on NQ. Yep. Oh man, I'm gonna be salty. That's all right. The FOMO is real. Who said that earlier? The FOMO is real. Wow, what a market. My long-term portfolio is loving this. That's the other thing I think about all the time as a trader. I trade the short side much better. I like the short side much better for trading like futures and stuff. It depends. I like both. I probably trade short two-thirds of the time, I think, is what my statistics say. But days like this and times like this, obviously, I always just think back, okay, I don't have as much opportunity on futures, but my long-term portfolio is screaming to the upside. So what do we can't be upset about that, right? I haven't even checked. Let me check and see what I'm almost 35% year to date. So I reset my long-term portfolio I had stuff all over the place. Um, Alexandra's asking here. So I had stuff all over the place. I had like an IRA in one spot. I had some stuff in Webull. I had some stuff in Robinhood. The IRA was in what in TOS or something. I don't know. I just had stuff all over the place. And here, let me just go to SPY here. We were sitting here at all-time highs back in February, and let's see. The last time I like really was buying stuff long term was like back here. It was like back in here. And then I think I bought some back in here. Back in April, May. I did not buy when we had last summer we had this. I did not buy anything more because I bought here. I was selling stuff up here, kind of readjusting some stuff, and then I was pretty heavy cash like in a lot of this time. And so what I did was I took and reset everything and moved stuff over to Robinhood and reset my portfolio. I made it public on Blossom. I can get a link out for that. But I publicly bought on April 4th and April 7th for the first time in a while. So here's April 4th, like this day and this day I bought in my long-term portfolio, and I've made a few adjustments. I've taken some trims. I've bought some other stuff throughout the time, and then kind of just reallocating. But that's up 38%, and it is public. So, like for example, if I look right now, I do have some NFLU in there, which is leveraged Netflix because I think that's going to do well right now. But my biggest holding is Mercado Libre. Then I have Broadcom, Meta. Actually, Tesla's pretty high right now, and then Nvidia. And I just kind of rebalanced some of the stuff recently. But I have a ton of stuff in here. Roku, Hood, UAL, Google, Oracle, Amazon, GE, Boeing, CrowdStrike, Inu, Taiwan Semi, Walmart, of course. I have gold, some other stuff. So yeah, got a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's my long term. I'll see. Let me find a. It's on mobile. This Blossom. Let me see if I can find. Oh, let's see if I can find a link to that real fast. And I mean, full disclosure, I'm not like some expert, like long term investor, but I do get to listen to, host conversations with, and talk with a lot of really smart people. So what I do is I just try to put smart people around me, things that I like, my ideas, things I've learned, and then pair that with smart people that I agree with. Let me see if I can find that link real fast, just in case you. I like to be transparent. Let me find this. Here it is. Do your own due diligence, of course. If you download Blossom's a free app. There are some paid services in there, but it's free. But you can track my portfolio. And it is all linked and verified. It's real positions, etc. All right, I'm gonna break and base above this 788. I mean, do I really want a long? One of the toughest things to do is long all-time highs. Data tells you to do it, but it is not easy to like pick spots to get in at all-time highs, especially when you've been doing this on the daily. This is a hard scenario. About to run out of time on my stream here. I don't love the look that SPY's giving us. Are are failing in that same area again. So you look at the 15-minute, but you go back to the 5-minute, you're still above the EMAs. You're above the 5-minute EMAs here. I mean, just look at this. Where the rejections were happening here, we're still above that. So this could easily turn into support. Do you just close your eyes and buy right here? Probably. I think you probably just close your eyes and buy. It's a tough call. Willie's always all over the Brits. Those Brits out of the way. Maybe they close and we get a little push here. It looks kind of like a flag. I think you get long right here, and just hope it runs up into tomorrow. The good news is you don't really have to do anything. Yeah, Matt, I'm with you. This could turn into a brutal day. This could turn into a day where I go make a second coffee, where I go grab some food, come back. I've got some great conversations on spaces that I'll be a part of today. So this may turn into a day where I focus more on that stuff. I look, some of my long-term stuff. I mean, I'm a heavy tech investor and I'm making new all-time highs. My portfolio is making new all-time highs. Probably going to look at some of my weightings and see where I'm at. Like I said, I did buy some Adobe. That's the only thing, new thing I have on. That portfolio on Blossom, that is all equity as well. So there's no options involved there, nothing. It's just straightforward buying stocks, allocating to stocks, and going from there. I think this is probably the long. As much as it's probably hard to do, this is probably the long right there. And I mean, it's not crazy to think that we could go higher. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We are coming right to the end of my stream right here, the 2 hour mark. Yeah, you're welcome, Serenity. Every Tuesday and Thursday. Tomorrow, guys, tomorrow over on Wolf Trading, it'll be me and a bunch of the crew. We're gonna live stream. Um, we'll be on the Wolf Trading YouTube. We'll also be on X broadcast, I believe, but for sure on Wolf Trading's YouTube tomorrow. Me, Jordan, if you guys know Jordan, Ace the Kid, Evan, Mr. Stock Market News himself, and then we'll have KC, Knots. I think Maple's coming. Paper Gains. A lot of the guys that are on Spaces live trading, every day with us. We're looking at doing that stream tomorrow. We did it last Friday. It was awesome. We had like 300 concurrent pretty much the entire time. We ended up going almost all day. I think we went all the way to the close basically. But I'm excited to do more live streams. Obviously, I'm doing my own streams Tuesday and Thursdays right here on Edgeful and on Wolf Financial. And then tomorrow, if you're looking for a live trading stream, which guys, I use Edgeful every day in my trading. I don't just come on here 2 hours of a stream and talk about Edgeful. I use Edgeful every day. It's how I trade. I'm a probability-based trader. I think everyone's a probability-based trader at some point or another. If you're not, you're probably not very successful. But you're trying to look at probabilities more than anything, no matter how you trade, whether it's with the Edgeful data or not. You're trying to take probabilities, right? But anyways, that's where I'm at. But yeah, don't let FOMO get you. Don't get sucked into bad trades. Don't try to press it. I mean, what are you trying to press on a day like today? You're at all-time highs. You're trying to find a short at all-time highs can be a very tough thing to do. Longing up here this far up, already up 1.3% on the day. That's a tough ask a lot of times too. So what do you do? The answer could be not much of anything. All right, guys, I gotta log off here. I've got some other things coming up, and hopefully, you guys stop by tomorrow. Here's actually a couple things. Hopefully, most of you have tried Edgeful. If you haven't, I'll get you a link. If it's your first time, you haven't done it before, with this link, when you go to checkout, which try it for a month. I mean, at least give it a month. It's $50. But first 7 days will be free if you use my link right there. Just dropped it in the chat. And then let me pull up. Right here tomorrow, Wolf Trading. Here's the link. If you go to Wolf Trading, you'll find it. We got 700 subscribers already. It's good. We've only been doing this for like a week. And then right here's you can just set your notifications. I don't have mine on because I'm going to be the one that's opening this. So, but there you go. Here's what it was last week. Let me just zoom ahead here real fast. There you are. There I am. There's KC. Oh, Frank, Uncle Frank's on here. Maple. Jordan's on here. Evan was in and out. Paper came on at some point. I can't remember what time he came on. There's Mr. Jason Paper Gains. But yeah, we'll be doing that tomorrow. So stop by for that today. Oh, my internet wants to go slow. If this is all you looked at today, do you want a long at the highs? Usually not. Do you want to short against this? I don't know. It's up to you guys. I may not do much of anything. I'll probably find a way to get a trade on the board this afternoon, but I don't think I'm going to do anything today. All right, guys, I'm out of here. See you guys on for this stream next Tuesday morning, Tuesday and Thursday every week, right at market open. Tomorrow, internet. I've got too much stuff going apparently. Tomorrow, same thing. Live on Wolf Trade. Out of here, guys. Good time for my internet to just go crazy here. All right, guys. Appreciate all of you. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, whichever one you're on, Edgeful, whatever. Appreciate all you guys. Matt, Willie, Serenity, Alexandra, Bob, Robert, 7-2 offsuit came in, got his trade, got done for the day. Pine Tree stopped by. DC came in, asked some good questions. I like that. Cliff, Vladimir, KB was here earlier this morning, of course. Cliff, I think I got everyone. If I missed you, Bitcoin, I think, was in here a little bit earlier. Oh, Andreas. How could I forget? Andreas absolutely crushed it today. Roberto. I think I got everyone. Appreciate all you guys jumping in the chat. We'll see you guys on Wolf Trading tomorrow. See you guys on this stream next week.